I'd like to introduce to you Josh Frydenberg. He's been a member of the Australian House of Representatives for the seat of Kooyong, representing the Liberal Party since August 2010. Josh served in various junior ministerial roles in the Abbott government from 2013 before being promoted as the Minister of Resources, Energy and Northern Australia.
Some leads to help him with targeting the coral reef and help him in his journey through destroying the reef. So Josh, we've got some white king, green.
Very good, thank you. Josh served in various junior ministerial roles in the Abbott government from 2013 before being promoted as the Minister for Resources, Energy and Northern Australia in the Turnbull government since September 2015. So please welcome Josh Frydenberg.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks very much, Rod. Well, if we're at the football, hopefully he was a Carlton supporter. Can I first start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land and paying my respects to their elders past and present. Can I thank Caroline for helping to coordinate this, Kathleen for her comments earlier, Rod for your role, and Peter, Janet, and welcome Mark to Victoria. I understand that the environment is an extremely important issue at this election and that people in this room are extremely passionate. And I'm not here to debate the science, indeed I accept the science. I'm here to talk about the best possible way for Australia to tackle the challenge of climate change. Over the last 6 years, I have enjoyed very much and benefited greatly from my interaction with Lighter Footprints. My door has always been open. Indeed, I think most of the candidates who have been against me in Kooyong have probably been Lighter Footprints alumni, but that being said, it's been a very useful exchange and I hope it's been mutually beneficial. Today I'm very happy to talk about the Coalition's plans for climate change and other areas of the environment. I think it is a false choice to talk about the economy versus the environment, or indeed for coal versus the reef. And so today I want to talk about three particular topics. What the government is practically doing to reduce our carbon footprint. Secondly, to talk about what we are doing to preserve the Great Barrier Reef. And thirdly, to talk about why I'm optimistic about our future and our ability to tackle the environmental challenges we face. When it comes to climate change, we took to Paris a target of reducing our carbon emissions by 26 to 28% by 2030 on 2005 levels. On a per capita basis, this was amongst the highest in the world. We're on track to pass our 2020 targets, and we believe we've got the right policies to meet our 2030 targets. First, in terms of the various policies we have, is the Emissions Reduction Fund. Now, as Peter indicated, $2.55 billion was put in the Emissions Reduction Fund to put in place a market-based mechanism to try to find the lowest cost of abatement. Indeed, for the 143 million tonnes of abatement so far that's gone through that auction process, it's been done at an average cost of just above $12. We also have a bipartisan agreement to a legislated renewable energy target. This target will see 23.5% of our electricity production in Australia generated from renewable sources by 2020. This will require a doubling in the large-scale renewable projects in this country. Indeed, in July 2015, when we agreed on the legislated bipartisan target, we saw 18 projects committed to, large-scale renewable projects committed to, including a large wind farm in New South Wales, which will see more than 200 jobs created in the construction phase and many after in the operation phase, a $400 million project. So the renewable energy target is indeed very important. Another part of our plan is the National Electricity Productivity Plan. And what we are designed there to do is to improve our productivity by 40% by 2030. We're doing that through a whole range of new standards for buildings, new standards for white goods and appliances, new vehicle emission standards. And by getting greater efficiencies through that plan, we believe we can reduce our emissions significantly. Another area is by focusing on innovation. Innovation is absolutely key, and new technologies. Now, we have the $10 billion Clean Energy Finance Corporation. We also have the ARENA program. Under the ARENA program, it's already got more than 200 individual projects, including more than $100 million of large-scale solar projects, which Greg Hunt has announced during his time as Environment Minister. But we have established a $1 billion Clean Energy Innovation Fund, which will be a loan, not a grant, to help commercialise new renewable technologies, which is absolutely key. So that whole suite of mechanisms, whether it's the Emissions Reduction Fund, whether it's a renewable energy target, whether it's our productivity plan, or whether it's in innovation and the various funds that we have established there, we are committed to dealing with climate change. On the second issue of the Great Barrier Reef, everyone acknowledges what an icon this is. In fact, it's the world's largest living structure. Now, when we came to government, the Great Barrier Reef in 2013 was on UNESCO's and the World Heritage List's watch list. We, as a result, put in place a plan together with the state government, which saw some $2 billion put aside for investment in various ways to protect the reef. And of course, as a result of this plan and the measures that we took to end dredging disposal in the Great Barrier Marine Park, it was taken off UNESCO's watch list. And in fact, Australia was praised for its management. Now, in terms of other measures that we have taken, we recently announced the $1 billion fund, and that $1 billion fund will focus on climate change mitigation strategies, as well as how to improve water quality treatment across a whole range of areas, including sewerage outfall in terms of pesticides, irrigation, and various other technologies. So there is a very concrete plan. And then finally, I wanted to talk about why I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic for one of the reasons that Peter actually described. The fact is we now have so many nations from across the world, he mentioned over 190 countries around the world, who have agreed for the first time to this particular COP21 target. Now, is it enough? It's not enough, and that's why there is going to be these 5-year renewals which Australia has, and reviews that Australia has pushed for. But the fact that you've got so many countries, all very different. If I look at France, they get more than 70% of their electricity from nuclear. If you go to Sweden, it's more than 40%. If you go to Norway, more than 98% of their energy comes from hydro. Every country has a different set of characteristics. But Australia has put its target forward as part of a global agreement, and I think that has to be a good thing. The second reason why I'm optimistic is because of the improvements in technology, particularly the improvements in battery technology, which will allow us to store renewable energy in a much more efficient and effective way. The CSIRO says that battery technology costs will come down by at least 60% over the next 10 years, and that solar costs will come down substantially as well. So I think that whether it's the Tesla cars, which are coming down in price, whether it's battery technology for the household or for the commercial business, or whether it's solar, there is great improvements in technology. So technologies and the global agreement are very important. But the final point I just make is that the Australian economy is in transition. We are moving away from coal, and that is not a bad thing. In 2004, 77% of our electricity generation came from coal. Today, it's just above 60%, and it is decreasing substantially. Australia does export a lot of coal, but we are only 4% of the global thermal coal production market, 4%. Happy to take questions on it, but I believe the transition is happening. It's happening for the right reasons, and Australia has a lot to be optimistic about. Thank you very much.